I've made a lot of mistakes, and my mistakes were made for you. This will be a video in 3 parts with 3 mistakes. Ace here, thank you for joining me. Let's get started with set of mistakes number 1. Part 2, the background. So what you've just seen there is a remarkably terrible collection of bad photos I took on a particular lens. And if you clicked on the thumbnail and you can put 2 and 2 together, yes, the lens I'm talking about is the Helios 44-2. And this particular lens that I've got, this Helios, is modified. It is modified for, or it's an anamorphic lens, and you can see it's attached to my Fujifilm X-T1. So that's the baseline. That's what we're working with today. That isn't a mistake just yet. I've been looking at the Helios lens for a while, any of them, the 44-2, the 44M, the 44-4, and especially the anamorphic modifications. Most people use this for videos to get that anamorphic look, which is like that cinematic, stretched kind of look with the overlay background and the light things. You know I don't make video unless it's on my little GoPro, so I'm probably not going to get anamorphic results on that anytime soon. But what I did want to get is more cinematic style photos. And I thought, or I'm thinking, this lens might be able to help me with that. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive. This lens is different to the normal Helios lenses because it has an oval, basically bit of cardboard or plastic in there that creates the ovally shapes. So the first mistake I made with this was taking it down to the Gold Coast, which isn't a mistake, but it was a mistake taking it down in the middle of the day. So when you know photography and you know when you open a lens wide open, that shallow depth of field gets really, really thin and you need a very, very fast shutter. And I just messed all the shots up. There's no 2 ways about it. I took hundreds of shots. I manually focused, which is a skill that I've forgotten and I need to relearn. And I just made a lot of mistakes, a real lot of mistakes. And I wasn't feeling it. And to be honest, I was getting pretty down on myself that I just couldn't make it happen or make it work. You'll see the video going through now. On the point of view shooting, you can see it was just a stonkingly amazing day. The sky was blue, colors were popping. Almost any other lens would have been fantastic, but no, I wanted to use this 40 or so year old Helios lens, manually focusing. It looks like well, I'll let you guess what that looks like. It looks funny. I still really wanted to get some cinematic shots, but I didn't really nail it. I actually took this out twice on that particular day. First in the morning at the Gold Coast, and then secondly there was a car show at my kids' school. I had to pick them up from school, and there was a classic car show. So you'll see some point of view footage rolling past fairly quickly, and you'll see some shots. So where does this lens go wrong? Where does it go wrong for me? There's a few different things. This lens doesn't need a lot of light to shine, so to speak. It opens up, I mean, with a modification, it should open up to f2, but it probably 2.8 would be generous, maybe f3 at a pinch. So it doesn't let in a lot of light, but it still can hold a lot of light. On these cameras, the ISO can go up fairly high without too much noise. And these daytime shots I shot in JPEG, so there wasn't really any particular issues with needing to shoot in RAW. But I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry, crew. So shooting manually or shooting manual focus is a skill I need to get used to. The focus throw on this is really, 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 really long. From like turn to turn, there's like a whole rotation. So especially when you're shooting at those lower or those wider apertures, to nail focus I found was quite hard. And I know I don't like to mess things up, but I messed a lot of shots up, as you would have seen. Heaps of them, heaps and heaps and heaps of shots. But I wanted to get that really creamy background, so that's where the struggle was. So that's the first thing. The second mistake I made with this lens is forgetting how long this crops on an APS-C sensor. So this is a 58mm lens, which crops to 90-ish on the X-T1 on an APS-C sensor. That's a long focal length. I'm used to 35, which crops to 50-ish. You know I love that 35 f2 lens, autofocus lens. I love it, love it, love it, love it. This is so much longer. And I just couldn't see the world in that. You'll see pictures of that blue old pickup truck If I wanted to get full body shots of that pickup truck, I would have had to stand across the road and across the suburb. Like it's just crops things so much. So I'm finding this focal length really hard. That's the second mistake. The first mistake was focusing. The second mistake was the focal length. The third mistake is shooting in the day, which I kind of said before. This really needs less light to be able to manipulate it a bit more. And the day was so bright. I mean, it was just stupidly fantastic, which you shouldn't really be shooting too much anyway. Certainly not people in that full light. You're just going to get those harsh shadows, and you'll see big highlights and things like that. And you'll see with the mistakes, like I just messed it up, like so epically badly. I mean, this lens has forced me to rethink street photography. And you know, if you've been following me, the last few months has been a metamorphosis on what I'm trying to shoot and why I'm trying to shoot it and the look I'm trying to shoot. Do I want to get candid shots, or do I want to get more posed street shots, or do I want to organize models and just get proper shoots, you know, where there's a bit more control? I was having a chat to my friend Duke Saratoga, who's a great friend of mine in this channel, and he said street photography is like playing with chaos, that is the perfect way to describe it. You're playing with chaos. There's no two ways around it, and I didn't get around it. Didn't get around the chaos, and the chaos won, I think. And I think chaos is going to continue to win while I'm doing street photography. Now, I'm not going to stop. I love it. I love it more than ever. I'm just realizing my deficits, and I'm realizing that I still don't know exactly. I know what I want to shoot, but trying to find that in the wild is really hard. I'll go with the pictures in my mind's eye that I want to capture, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's playing with chaos. Sowing in the wind and reaping the whirlwind, as they say. So what's my verdict on this Helios 44-2 anamorphic? After all those things that have gone wrong, is I love it. I adore it. And I know it's going to take a while to get used to it. I know this is going to reinforce me to think how I shoot. Find someone that looks at you like, I look at this lens. Then you'll be happy. That's a hot tip. That's relationship advice from someone that's not very good at relationships. Find someone that looks at you like, I look at this lens. I love this lens. I wanted to try it with the X-T1 because the X-T1's autofocus is not as good as it used to be. So I figured if I'm going to go manual, I'm going to go manual. So that's what I've done. Mostly when I was shooting, I had it on. I just had the aperture set, and I just had the ISO on auto. Is that aperture priority, shutter priority? I don't know. You guys know. I've never remembered what those different things are. But I love this lens. I can't wait to take it out at night. I know it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be different. It's going to be fun. Third mistake. Final part. You guys thought this was over, but you were wrong. Third part, part 3. Where to from here? I love this lens. I've loved making mistakes on that. The third mistake wasn't telling you about the mistakes. The third mistake is what YouTubers do, I think, in general, about putting their best work forward, which you need to do. I think you need to try and work on, delivering a quality product. I know I want to try and work on that even more. I've always wanted this YouTube and my Instagram, which you should go and follow as well, _aces_places, see the link down below, is this to be my creative scratch pad or my creative journey. And if you can't look at your photo feed or your videos and see progression and the development and growth, I think you're probably stagnated, or hit a really sweet niche. But I think it's probably more stagnation. Not that I've hit that point yet. I'm not even close to that point. I'm still loving learning. I'm loving it. So the third mistake, and there's probably more of a mistake in general, is people that keep on doing a good thing without growing, or worse still, they keep on doing something they think is good and actually sucks, or it's just old hat, or just doesn't work anymore. So maybe that one of the mistakes I make is being a bit too honest on this YouTube with my failures. And they are. Most videos I fail at something. But that's the creative journey. You don't create a masterpiece without making mistakes, making so many mistakes. And I make a lot of mistakes. And I love it. I love this hobby so much. Well, crew, thanks for joining me. And thanks for joining me with a Helios 44-2 anamorphic. There's better videos you can watch about anamorphic videos on other channels, and I think you'll probably enjoy a lot more that aren't for me, but you'll probably enjoy them. Thanks for joining me, crew. Remember, everything is an adventure when you have a camera in your hands.